Okay, this video is going to finish section 1.2 part 2. If I give you this picture of this line segment, which I gave you in your class notes, and I asked you to find the domain and range, one of the things you want to do is pay attention to the scale, okay? And another thing that may help is this. How about labeling the endpoint? That is the ordered pair 0, 3. That endpoint, and this point is the ordered pair 5, 0. Now, by labeling those, it's going to help finding the domain and range. Remember, domain is your x value, and to find domain, you always scan from left to right. My left x value, which is here, is 0. So I start scanning from 0 to, and my x value here is 5, so my domain is I have scanned from 0 to 5. And I put brackets on those because those points are included on my graph. The number 0 is a number that is part of my answer. So is 5. It's part of my answer. Range, I scan from bottom to top. The bottom ordered pair has a y value of 0, and I scan up. The top ordered pair has a y value of 3. So my range goes from 0 to 3. Remember, when you're giving your answer in interval notation, it's always got to go from smallest to largest, which is why for domain you should always go left to right, and for range you should always go bottom to top. That way they'll come out in the correct order. Okay, this last graph is mainly for those of you who are going on into trig, and I know I've got several of you, and then ultimately into calculus one day. This is a picture of a trigonometric function, and in trig, this axis is normally labeled in terms of pi. So this graph goes from negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi, and then on the y-axis it stays between negative 1 and 1. Now, I've tried to make it a little bit clearer than it is in your notes. I'm going to actually draw it as stopping here, okay? So when I ask you for domain and you scan from left to right, you're going from negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi. Negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi, and of course the reason you're putting a bracket is you don't see a hole there. You see an inclusion, so it means those values are part of my answer, the x values. And if I ask you to scan this graph from bottom to top, notice the bottom of this graph is at the y level of negative 1, and then when I scan up, the top of my graph reaches positive 1. So the range of my graph would be all y values between negative 1 and positive 1 included. And when I say included, I mean you put the bracket, because the graph does reach a positive 1 and the graph reaches a negative 1. Okay? And we're done. So this is the end of 1.2 part 2.